they are in graduate school now, and then my older one, she moved to her sister's apartment in Omaha, Nebraska. They spent about almost 2 months, 1.5 months together. And my younger one, she during the vacation, and then she is joining research at school. And my older one, she is in graduate school and start another program for public health and this summer. And then she was studying MCAT for medical school admission, and they spent together. And then my older one going back to her apartment in Boston, and then last Saturday, my birthday, and my wife asked them to come back home and stop by home and go back to school and stay, stay to celebrate my birthday. And then they came home and we eat a lot, and we go to different places for eating. And one really fun thing was to play a sport together. And my daughters play tennis, and then I play tennis, and I like the sport as my younger one. But my older one, she likes exercising, but my wife doesn't like exercise, and maybe she always supporting us, but she doesn't like any sport. And then just sitting next to us and watching, and that's all. But during the pandemic, and then my daughters learn no way to exercise, right? They like it, but no way to exercise. And then they learn playing golf, and they don't know much. They took 2 months of lesson, that's all. And then they went back to school, and then they don't play much. And then still it's playable at the rain, at the courses. And then so last winter, and then we played together, and my wife cannot play golf, and then she just followed us and watched us. And then I think so she determined to learn golf. And then last 6 months, and she didn't take official lessons, and then I helped her to learn how to hit the balls. And then about 6 months later, the last Saturday, and July 3rd was D-Day to play whole family play golf together. And then we had such a good time, and it's really tiring, but still it was a really good time though. And usually we have a really strong family bond. And then because we every summer, since they are in elementary, so 5th grade and 6th grade, and every summer and every month we went down to Tijuana to serve a church. And then every summer we went to the Guadalajara in Mexico, Michoacan in Mexico, serve the church there. And then it helps a lot to build up a family bond and then work together as a family for the kingdom of God. And it's a really good experience. And then through the process, and we have some conflict to preparing for the missions and preparing for the programs. And then, but still, nowadays we talk about the past mission activities, and then it's a lot of things what's going on in there, in there, but they didn't share at the time. And then nowadays it's a part of the memories, and they share us, and then I'm really surprised, really. But they never talk us, but still it was a good memory though. So mission trips, and then helped a lot to build a family. And sports helped a lot to build up the families, and they played instrument like a typical Asian kids, and then but it just helped a lot to build up the family kind of relationship, right? And then every Saturday, whenever they have a lesson, and then we go there, we're sitting outside or inside, and then listen to music, and then try to listen to what teacher said, and then help them to practice all kind of stuff, and then really I think we have really strong family relationship, and developing strong faith in God. And a lot of people say that your family is a little bit different from other families. I know, and my kids, and they came back, and then one thing that they said that we are really thankful though, and to you guys as why, and then so I am Asian American, and typically people say, oh, you are the Asian American, and then you are in medical school, your parents force you to go to medical school. So, and people assumed that and said to her, my daughter, and my daughter said, no, my parents never forced us to to go to medical school, and then they suggested and to go to other things, but they didn't take it. Sometimes, as a parent, and then kids have kids have a unique ability to do something well, and I can see that. I can see them because I observed every day, and then they will take it away and they pursue their own things. Like both of them, interested in medical field, but when I see them, and my younger one, she has really good logics, and then she's really kind of study very easily and well in social science, and I think that she is really, maybe if she wants a professional job, and if she wants to get a professional job, I think it's better become a lawyer than the doctor. But she said, no, this is my way, think about from the childhood, and I'm gonna go this way. But she told me that way to become a lawyer doesn't like, she gave me reasons that she doesn't like, and then it's okay, that's your life, and then you can go for it, and that's why sometimes we think as a parent, and I think that this is better, and why don't you do this one, and they get really mad, and I found that this, maybe it's for kids, but saying something that they don't like, and then offended their feeling, and kind of offended by our saying. So I don't say anymore. So okay, and that's a life for you. And then so whatever you have, whatever you have in your heart, and just go for it. That's one of my philosophy to raise the kids, and then from childhood and college, and there is an important moment to decide what to do and which school they need to go. And then I didn't push them to go to good high school and good college, and usually my thinking is always different from their point of view, and then finally they choose and where they really want to go, and then they studies and go to next step and go to next step, and that's the my way in to support the family, and but I don't usually, and I'm really supportive for education, any kind of education. And if they want if they want to learn sport, and I'm willing to support, like tuition, the lesson and all kind of stuff. And if they want to learn something different things, I'm willing to support it. But that's my philosophy though. Learning is really, I know endless, and but still we can expand our ability and to serve others, and as a Christian, and to serve for the kingdom of God, and it's really important for me. There is a part of the story of my families and how we raise children, and how, we are talking about a lot of stuff about how to live, and if they are really, one of them is in medical school already, and the other one is trying to apply next year. And then we always talk about being a good doctor. I know making money is not a big deal, not a big thing as a doctor. And then if you want to make money, don't be a doctor. Do a business, and then you could make more money. You could have, I know, but depends on which doctor they are interested in, and then stress level is different. But if you really want to make money, and then doctor is not good for your job. And we talk about a lot of stuff, our values, and how can kind of practice our value in our vocation and in our life. That is part of a family education that I'm doing. That is my experience, and then that is my own things. But just think about your education, family education, what you learn from your family, how churches help your family to grow in socially, in psychologically, in spiritually. So what are you expecting? What are you expecting from the family, from the church for your family growth, relationally and spiritually? Nowadays, it's a kind of family that's really facing a lot of challenges, and then as time goes by, and then people are really crazy about money, because without the money we cannot live a life. And sometimes it depends on how much you have. Even though you have a lot, even though you have a lot of money, it doesn't make you happy. Maybe it helps you to be convenient and comfortable life, but it doesn't guarantee for what? Happy life. But society tends to be really materialistic, right? So always think about money. How can I get a good job to make more money? What about another challenges is the work and family? So think about to support the family, and then sometimes they cannot make enough money for a living, and they cannot meet their needs for family, and then they have to work 2 jobs, right? And I went to the Thai restaurant yesterday, and then he used to be the guy, waiter, he used to be work, but I haven't seen him for a while, and then, almost, and then yesterday, my daughter asked me to have Thai food, and we went there, and then we could see the guy, and then, I haven't seen you for a while, what happened? And then he said, I work, I have 2 jobs, and then that's why you cannot see me here often. And I see, and then he was really nice, but I think he's a young guy, and maybe he's not married yet. think about the juggling between work and family. And they have 2 jobs, and it's a lot of work, and then kids are kind of not in the proper care, right? Attentions. And that's why, how can we balance work and families, right? And when I was in Korea here, and then one of the PKs, a pastor's kids, said, "Oh, I don't know who my daddy is." And just think about Korean church has a morning prayer, and father, dad, and got up in the morning around 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock and left to go to church. It's not easy to see the kids. And then sometimes coming back late night after dinner. And then a lot of things going on at night, and they cannot come back home in time. Why kids are awake. That's why it's hard to spend the time together with the family, and then that's why kids say that my day is always busy. What about the influence of the media? I don't know. I know there's a lot of good things. The family can get from media, but a lot of negative influences. What is the negative influences? It's hard to screen the information, which one is true or which one is not. Right? Sometimes we are manipulated by the false information, scam, and family got hurt. What about the pornography? Right? And broke the family, broke the fidelity between couples. There's a lot of and I know the person who dating with someone, and then she is kind of Democratic, and the boyfriend is a Republican. They fought it a lot and then separate. Sometimes we are manipulated by the media. They don't deliver the true news. But people believe that, right? That's why a lot of journalists, there is true journalism. No more. If you have power, if you have money and control the media, social media too. And in the morning my wife said YouTube doesn't allow financial scribe and financial stuff. A lot of people nowadays the stock market is a really hot issue, and then there is a hedge fund issues, and then people are talking about the hedge fund and short squeeze and all kind of illegal stuff, and then how they make money, and then it's a really bad influence on the hedge fund managers. Some of them true, some of them not true, and then they try to not doing anymore, and I don't know the behind the stories, and then that's going on. It's a lot of information analysis about how they doing, what they gonna do, and then but certainly today morning my wife told me that YouTube doesn't allow the finance information stuff, and who has posted all kind of stuff, and then and positive influence and negative influence. So what about the lack of communication? We are really busy, and different generation, communication is different, and then communication needs time sometimes. Build a relationship and know each other very well, and then you gotta care about one another, and then if you don't, then it's hard to communicate. What about the financial pressures? about 70% of the divorce because of the financial issues. What about the father figure? It's a change, right? Traditional society and father is a bread taker and then work outside and authority in the family and lead and guide the family, but yeah, father figure is not, it's a little bit kind of different, changed nowadays. What about the lack of discipline? I don't know, nowadays, people tends to be like, do whatever you like it. So do whatever you feel good. And sometimes that kind of attitude and philosophy and then like a pluralistic society and relativistic society, and then there is no right and a lot of things, maybe a lot of things are right, and there is no absolute value, and then that's why there's a lack of discipline. Yeah, there is, right? And then it's really busy. If you live in LA and you feel like if you go to New York and then see how people are moving fast. About 3 years, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I went to Korea with my younger one, and then, wow, it's kind of, the rhythm is so fast, people are really busy. Yeah, once we try to walk in the subway, we don't, it's easy to lost, and then we don't know, and then people are moving fast, and then touch the shoulder, didn't say anything, and just passing, and sometimes a lot of people are going one way, and we are the part of people, and then we don't know, we don't have a control of our walking. Yeah, divorce rate is already it's 50% almost divorced once they married, and then that's getting higher and higher. And what about anti-Christian cultures, right? Different sexuality, and then LGBTQ community trying to attack, and then Christian community, and then non-Christian community trying to attack the Christian community, and then it's really, and my daughter said that people don't like conservative Christian. They always align together, and then, okay, Christians are conservative, they don't like it. And if you say I'm conservative Christian and they hate, like a kind of a climate in the state. That's why people kind of, I don't know, I'm a Christian, and I always see that in Christian perspective, and then I don't know where is the freedom. Just think about try to support the others' freedom, and you have to suppress the other parties, right? As a Christian, I want freedom. I want to worship God. I want to pray any places. But just think about, and a lot of people, they say, okay, you cannot pray and you cannot religious meeting in the public place, and then, but yeah, for the Christians, but other people could do it, and then they don't care about it, right? There is no equality. That is the hardest thing. Maybe it's not life-threatening persecution that who are really facing in the other side of the world, and then, but still, it's a part of a persecution for Christian. That is a trend. That is a trend of a Christian. The family are facing nowadays. maybe out, more than here, but still, there's a lot of Christian family struggling, right? And inside the family, it's kind of their belief was changed. Long time ago, belief was taught by churches and families. But nowadays, it's kind of, even though you are raised in the same family, their belief is different, right? But if you see another, religion like Muslims and, Islam is totally different from Christianity, and still their belief is really taught and then strong, right? In community. What about their attitude? It's a practice in long time ago, right? Practice in the families. And sometimes kind of directed and then teach it, right? Taught by parents. Families are changing now, right? The Christians, just even though we are Christians, I don't know. And the scholars say that 1/3 of the population in the world are Christians, and usually around 30% of the population, or 10% to 30%, they are really devoted Christians. And it means that if you are not devoted Christian, then you don't care about the Christian values. Maybe you can go to church every Sunday and you can join the some activity at churches, but if we don't practice your value, I don't know whether we can call ourselves Christian. Just think about inside the family, it's changing now. Their belief, attitude, and values are changing now. I want you to think about what's the theological basis of a family relationship. And here is there's a start family initial covenant. The two couples, they bow and they made a covenant, and then they started the family. There is a degree, there is a 4 elements of the relationship: commitment and grace and empowering and intimacy, all put together and work in mature Christian family. What is a commitment? Just think about the couples. You got to commit to each other. Parents and children, they need to commit to the family. That's family. I don't know, just a family, so they love each other and then they have kids and it's called family. Then maybe, but personally, I think the family under God's special plan, and God formed the family, and then when I carry out founding through their parents or through their kids, that's family. That's why they need to commit one another. And what is the grace? Everyone is not perfect, right? Someone can make a mistake, and we're gonna forgive them, and we're gonna embrace their weakness as a family. That's grace. What about the empowering? encourage the family members, encourage your husband, encourage your wife, encourage the children. Children can be encourage parents. How? Giving them like a word, thank you, and yeah, it's just the small things. Yeah, really be encouraged. That's empowering family. What about the intimacy? You gotta develop it, right? You gotta develop it. It's not just given. I know how busy our society is and your parents are busy. And then my kids, one day my kids said, we also appreciate your kind of support. And then they saw that the classmate, their parents are really busy to meet what family needs. They both work hard from the morning to night. Yeah, a little bit different though. Yeah, that's why you gotta spend the time with the children, with your wife, and with your husband. Just to try to understand each other, to develop the interest. Yeah, just think of what they like. How you gotta understand their personality, right? Whole process is not empowering and great. Commitment and grace is kind of develop your intimacy, though, right? Not just going outside and play sports. It's not a developing intimacy, right? You gotta communicate with with your family members. Feel same things, see same things, think in the same way, even though you are different. And then develop. It's a kind of developing the intimacy, and therefore you are accepted and they are accepted, and this one. All things going involve and evolve together, and then what? Mature covenant meaning the healthy families. Think about your families, and then whether your family are not Christian family or not, and then can you think about commitment in your families, and then grace, forgiveness, and what about empowering, encouragement, one another, and then what? Intimacy, close relationship. This one is I don't know, characteristic of a healthy family and characteristic of a dysfunctional family. Sometimes I think you guys all of you have different cross-cultural context, and they maybe from China and from Korea and Japan and from other countries. And I know if you are from the East Asia, maybe there is a lot of common things, but still different, right? We cannot say that just this one from the American context though. American context is really different, right? It's the Asian and Eastern Asian countries are really based on what? Shame and honor culture. But this one, and individual society, individualistic society like America is really guilt, punish, kind of guilt and punish, kind of culture. It's totally different, right? And we cannot say that a lot of big mistakes was that maybe if you see the America in your cultural perspective, from your cultural perspective, and then a lot of things that, yeah, you can understand a lot of things. It's a dysfunctional. But the American people see your culture from their perspective, and then a lot of things are dysfunctional. That's why we gotta understand first the cultural context, right? But this is American, and then you can see that, and also characteristic of a healthy family, and then here it is. See individual difference as desirable. So every family is different because God created each family member unique, right? Your father is different, your mother is different, your siblings are different. There is similarities, but still there is a difference. That is it's from God, it's not from us. It's not, we don't think that maybe our generic is a kind of different combination, and that's why I came out like this. Maybe, but who controls the generic DNA combination? Who controls? And healthy families are struggling as a beneficial, sometimes really critical and kind of judgmental and blames. It's not healthy, right? And see grief and pain as necessary. We cannot live all the time in seventh heaven. Sometimes there is a loss, and sometimes there are pains there. Family needs to walk towards rather than push it towards change. Meaning that my culture, right? You pushed a lot to become like this, to become you gotta go do this one, like American, Asian American pushed a lot, right? So family members receive only what is given with the open hand. Love is as a thing, a commitment to who they are with each other than what they expect the relationship to become. And look at this. See time spent with each other as a desirable and beneficial. When one another urgently needs something from other members, he or she can appreciate whatever is available. See expression of love and appreciation as desirable and necessary. All family members communicate directly with the other and personal language from the I rather than you. Home is shaped by who each family member is, not according to some ideal. Look at these kind of things, and maybe dysfunction is the other side, right? One thing is, look at this overall criteria, but one thing is one criteria is that number one is that everybody is created in unique way for the kingdom of God. And their uniqueness, their differences are respected and supported in the family. And then the family is healthy. So you feel other family members feel that you're healthy. Are you willing to support? And a family member willing to support their differences and struggles and all kinds of stuff which are healthy. Because that's why we need acknowledge we need to acknowledge diversity in the family. Everybody say, I know they from the same womb, but they are different, though. Diverse. Personality is different. Their interest is different. Right? God's plan is different. We gotta see that one, though. Right? In family. I wanna introduce three main family ministry at churches nowadays. How they try to help families and how the families function at the church. There is three kinds of family ministry. And family integrated ministry is family-driven ministry, in other words, and family equipping ministry, church home as a co-champions. Family-based ministry, separate context and share the progress. That is the main three kind of the ministry that the church are doing at Let's think about the family integrated ministry and to help the family. And I like this model, but I don't know, it just seems ideal and seems extreme, but you can see what model you like, and if you're married, and then if you are in church and leadership, how can you support the family, okay? And the family integrated ministry is the first model, the family-driven or family discipleship ministry. That one is kind of they have their own network and connection and organization. It's called the D6 family. It's based on the Deuteronomy chapter 6, right? That is kind of if you are interested in www.d6family.com, and you can see who they are, how they do, right? And this family, it's hard to in the immigrant church because the language is different and culture is different, but if you are in the same culture, you can do it. I went to Korea, I went to a small church, and then there is no age segregation and age graded classes and then event. They're all together. Yeah, they have there is no like youth group worship, and there is no high school worship. And they're all together, but they have their own activities, and they don't allow they are posting no age-graded class and event, no youth group, no children ministry, no graded segmented Sunday school classes. That one is, right? So that organization, that ministry is that. So all kids and adults and their youth and worship together. But I don't know, if you're a Christian, and usually when you guys come to church and drive in the same car, and you separate, and youth group, elementary, everybody's different area, and then, okay, when church is finished and around 2 o'clock, let's meet at the car and at the car and come back home. Like this. Usually, a lot of the churches doing that. Right? But all generations come together and learn together and worship together, right? And parents bear the primary responsibility for evangelism and discipline of their children. So parents needed to introduce the gospel to their children. There's a lot of the kids who turn their back from church and they don't respect their parents, especially I read a lot of research about that one, and then they said a hypocrite. Their parents are hypocrite. They say deep learning, but they don't show their belief in their life, daily lives. Yeah, that's why the parents, should be your primary, take a primary role to teach the gospel to their children and then discipline their children. So, the Grace Family Baptist Church, and then one of them, and then their own organization, National Center for the Family Integrated Churches. Once I really interested and I read some books about that one, and then it's a really lot of small big churches joined this there, and then they doing really well. What about their basic values is here? The biblical family is a spiritually ordered household of parents, children, and sometimes others, right? Forming the God ordained building blocks of the church. God already told in the scripture, and then we are the building block of the church. Start from home, family. It's not from church. So, reject fragmenting the family through ageism, graded and peer-oriented and special interested class, and thus preventing rather than the promoting family unity. So, the mother as a father is a really critical in leading families. Father leads a family, and there is a special training for the fathers, and be a godly man in family, and to lead a family There's and the father is really when you read the Bible in the patriarchal society, and father role is really important, right? But the mother really adopted the father roles in the Bible. There is a lot of organizations, family discipline churches, and then also family-centered ministry and inclusive congregation ministry, and each are kind of related to this ministry, this model. So one example that they are doing is that they want to age-graded and separated meeting, and then when they have a small group and whole family members get together from little kids to adult, right? Small group and they meet outside the church and the home, and they kids get together, and then they observe what their parents are doing, and sometimes they don't understand what they're saying and what they sitting there. And the study said that the children grow in a kind of environment and they mature than the other children. They already open and they think about and indirectly, and as they get older, and that's part of life, and think about and different perspective, and they much mature than other group. And then there is one of the ministry there in the United States, and I went to Malaysia because of my business, and then sometimes I go to the Chinese Malaysian churches, and then that church is kind of format. But nowadays, and then they used to whole congregation and from kids to adult and together. But nowadays the Sunday school are separated, but youth and all other to worship together. what about the family equipping church ministry? That is, maybe you can see a lot of churches, and then they really try to empower families and try to equip the parents and to lead the family in faith. They kind of an age-organized ministry is still intact, but parents are the primary decision makers in their children's life, and try to support the family, how to disciple their children, how to share the gospel with their children. So asking what is the best for family all the time at every level of the church ministry. What is the best for family? What is the best for family? It's not for the church. And church's main role is what? Strengthen the family. And they are not individual, they are not separate from church, but still under the church, but strengthen the church and grow church, grow, and the parents influence their children in faith, right? So parents recognize the church as a community called to participate actively in the discipline of believers. Okay, they don't even know the church community, and the church equips the parents to disciple their children, and parents recognize the church as active partners in the process, right? They work together. But the previous model, they don't have any, and then give them all authority to the family, and then for that and some special activities and for that one, and then train the fathers and right. So the family integral ministry is that they wish to get all together, and then I don't know, a lot of the Asian, Korean churches, and after service they have lunchtime together. But usually a lot of people, there's some people serve the lunch, but the kids don't do anything, right? But this is models, and after service, and every kids, whole families, and prepare everything together and eat, do together like this. So the family equipping ministry. So what is the best? What is the best for family? Well, always, and then they redeveloping what is the programs and curriculums, and then adjust it to strengthen the families, right? There is a lot of usually from the Southern Baptist churches, and there is Randy Stinson, and the Jay Strother, and then Brian Haynes, and then the Stephen Wright. There is the leading kind of leaders for this ministry, and then there is the ministries here, and the youth-focused family ministry and youth-friendly family ministry, and led by the David Rock, and home centers, churches supported the ministry, and co-champion models, and family-involved ministry like that, and relate to the church, family equipping ministry. So that is and that one is where they have their own website and support. This one is and what is it? thinkorange.com. You can see how the curriculums are developed and how they are doing. That one is look at this, and then their basic ideas red color from heart from home, but was a yellow church of light to the world, and then put together this orange colors, orange ministry, they said. The colors are combined, and they, like this, these orange colors, and they minister orange ministry. So our church is adopting that one, though. Yeah. But personally, I'm interested in the first part. They said that the family integrated ministry is that the kids are boring because their interests are different from other interests, and there's no peer group meeting. They said it, but still, it works. Yeah, it works. What about the family-based family ministry? This one is just think about churches programmatic structure still remain, and there was each separate ministry plans and programs in a way that intentionally draw generation together and encourage parents to take a part in the discipleship of their children and youth. Right? So each level they have their own things, but try to intentionally get attention and draw their ministry together. Usually there is kind of typical churches to try to do that, but sometimes there is no and also in churches and other my ethnic churches, and then there is no intentional though. Maybe another model that coming out, it's not made, but kind of natural in tradition and traditional, and they just provide some programs and that's all. But there is that one is kind of programmatic ministry, and then provide different programs for the adults and children. That's all. Whenever they need it, they provide information for the method and information. That's one of the ways that a lot of the churches doing. But that one is kind of there's intentional. Intention is there. So keyword, right? And family, there's ministry, family-friendly youth ministry, and youth-focused youth ministry, and family-based youth ministry, and then, family-friendly youth. You can see that there is a lot of ministry overlapped with other approaches. Sometimes, another ministry is here. It's a programmatic ministry is the ministry organizing separate silos with little consistent intergenerational interaction. There is not that much, and consistent. And then look at this: the family ministry is one more program when it exists, just a program. So provide when they need. So program may provide training, innovation, and activity for families. That's all. That's all. They don't want to put together for the family and let them do their disciple their children, take care of family. There is no intention. There is just to give them a seminar and training, and then what? Depends on if you are interested, and you can do it like this. And that's a lot. Think about the church is a lot of programs and services, and then you gotta organize the schedule and try to find and to to give kind of set implement a program for the people who need, right? that is, therapeutic counseling, family ministry, church-centered home support ministry, and family-sensitive ministry. That is kind of ministries belongs to the models, and then we can say that even though they have a different model, it's a lot of things overlap. And if you see the same church-centered homes ministry, so this one is similar to share with church family equipped ministry. So just think about programmatic ministry and church-based ministry and church family equipped ministry and family integrated ministry. Four models are there, and then some part that they are sure, right? Some sure. Not exactly the same. So we gotta know that one. But their goal is that to support the families. Even though try to support the family in different ways, and still just think about the family facing the challenges. We think that general challenges in the beginning of the lectures, but nowadays, and then just is from the pastor's perspective. The website, the churchleaders.com, by Chris Reynolds, talk about the challenges that family face, and he said that people believe that educators are responsible for moral, spiritual, and educational formation of their children. Who are the educators at church? Pastors. That's a big thing though. My ethnic church, and then I don't know. I wanna do something really. I got a lot of idea from the family integrity models, and then I have my own ministry, and my ministry is try to build up the healthy family in immigrant families, and then just think about first generation culture and second generation culture and 1.5 generation culture is totally different though, right? First generation, they little adopt to the American cultures, but they already formed their own cultures, right? What about the 1.5 generation? When they come around before the middle school, I don't say that nowadays they are in junior high school, they are first generation for me, but a lot of people say I'm the 1.5 generation, but I don't think so nowadays. And they come in, but even though they junior high school came in, they set a lot of things already in their country when they were in country. But before the elementary, they just take it, but they don't process it yet, right? And just think about the second generation who born here. 1.5 generation, little bit, maybe 50-50 cultural influence, a little bit more, like 60-70 influenced by the dominant culture, or around 30-40% is 40-50% from their parents. But second generation is different though. Second generation maybe more than 80% from the main dominant culture, in terms of influence, and then around 10% from the subculture. They are different. Why? In terms of language, and then second generation, so if they want grandparent, they cannot speak with their mother, the parent language. Maybe they can understand the basic stuff like my kids. And they are different though. But just think about it nowadays, when I was in Korean church and always, okay, here is my church, can you teach them? And can you do this one? And then I know the problems, and then just 2-3 hours at church, and then we cannot teach them. Who spend more time with their children? Mostly school. School influence is big. And then parents and church. Who could in charge of their children's education? Mother educator, church educator. Parents is more responsible for their education, right? But not there. Here is your Bible verses here, and then there is then. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. These words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you are sit in your house, and when you are by the way, and when you lie down, and when you arise. You shall bind them as a sign on your hands, and you shall be the Lordland between your eyes. You shall write them on your door. That one is Moses to Israelites, and then what? How to educate your children's faith. He didn't say to the Levites who are serving for their religion. He told the people and grandparents, right? That is one of the challenges though. So churches and my parents also say, here's my kids, and can you train them? And then they don't want parents don't want to take responsibility for their children. Another challenge is that the church redefine a pastor as a minister or a director. Just think about the nowadays culture. The church hire pastor to do ministry. Basically, pastor train people to the ministry, right? And look at that. The Lord personally gives the church pastor teachers to prepare the people for ministry so that the body of Christ is unified and healthy. That's one of the view. So that's why people said, okay, and they hired people to the ministry, right? The church hires what? Pastor to the ministry, and then, okay, so that's your job, and you're gonna do it. Like it's almost same as the first. But Bible said that He gave the different what? So education is kind of education is not just a teaching. It's in terms of Christian education is what? Give them the knowledge of the Bible, and what? We have to form the character. Needs time. We're gonna talk a lot. We're gonna live together, right? And let them practice what they live, what they learn. That's education, though. And Yeah. And everybody has a different perspective, different gift from God to get involved in ministry, even though pastors have different things. But nowadays, it's okay, he doesn't think about, that's why when you see the American churches nowadays, teaching pastors and different kind of pastors there, and worship pastors and counseling pastors, and then we do have executive pastors. There are different kind of pastors, and they using their gift in different way to build up the church. But not every church is like that. What about the American Korean churches? But their kind of is not the respected, and but they wanna was a church, the pastor the church wants the pastor to do everything, right? So like a Superman. Sometimes the life is people are confusing at church. Like life is confusing. A lot of things is going on in their life, people's life, right? And just think about church, and a lot of things are going at church. How many worships? If you go to Korean churches, and I don't know here, and then some churches have morning prayer every day, and Wednesday and Friday, and some other meetings, and Sunday services. How many services? If you have a big church, and it's a small church, usually they have 2 services. Morning service, around the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock services, and 11 o'clock services, like that. There's a lot of things going on. How can you do everything, right? But people are confused. Okay, that's why you are here and you gotta do it, but it's too much, right? It's a lot. Just think about the children's education. Sometimes it's too much for families, because family cannot follow up. And after church, and then when parents pick up their kids, and they have a bunch of the stuff, and craft, and Bible study, and something, and bunch of study, and then sometimes homeworks there. But parents don't, when parents, kids are go back home, and no time to do work with the parents. Sometimes parents are struggling with helping children's homework. But in our ethnic community, that's why they send a lot of send the kids to after school programs or the academy, right? How can we kind of overcome these issues that we are facing? So he suggested in 4 ways, and teach parents that they are the means of cultivating Christ into their lives of children. Churches should teach parents, like family equipping ministry, like church-based ministry, family-based family ministry, and parenting must begin with taking ownership of their parental responsibility. It's not just for the academy, academic work. Yeah, parents really wants to be successful in their children's academic performance, right? Academy, and they if they need it, they go to academy to get help from them, like that. And then for spirituality, children's spirituality, and then parents must take ownership of their parental responsibility. God called them and God told them in Old Testament, and the parental role is really important to teach about God. But church is getting, the church is institutionalized, and then parents don't want to take responsibility and then entrust their kids to the church. That's the kind of big problem in faith education, though. The developing method of teaching unique to your environment. Yeah, it's not like just Sunday school teaching, and just think about how can they intake their lessons and how can they practice the lessons. Sometimes, and church teachers are doing a really good job, but that's usually their work is a volunteer job, right? Volunteering job. And they try to time available on Sunday and prepare during the week and willing to go to church and serve. Pastors usually got paid for their work because that's job. And that's why. So we gotta work on the volunteers, and we gotta work on the kids, and we gotta working on the parents to make really good environment to teach children. Clarify the vision and the focus on your effort, and then think about it and the issues, and then as a pastor, and then they need to talk about what are they really interested in, how they want to do, and then how they want to do, and then what they need, and all kind of stuff, right? That's what he suggested, and so more think about helping parents and families. And just sometimes, their life is too busy, and sometimes no energy to do that. I try to help the parents to help their children develop their kind of faith. And once I encourage them, and I'm doing my own ministry, and then I encourage them, can you take a time once a week, like just 10 minutes or 30 minutes, up to you, and then just sitting down together, and can you read the Bible together and talk about it? And maybe don't preach to the kids and try to show what you learn and try to listen to what they learn. But that's a part of and training to get involved in the children's life. But it was not easy. And then a lot of people who are in my ministry, they say they agree, and I gotta do this, but after we get together, and then how is you guys doing with the children? And then I'm so busy, I don't have no time, I don't have time to do that, and sorry, like that. Just think about how how to help their busy life, how to manage their busy life, right? That's one of the things. And then I don't know how can we do that, and then maybe you guys kind of work with the parent and sit down and then try to find the time or schedule anything, and then just we gotta help them. And if they cannot do it, and then maybe on Sunday set aside time before they go back home, and then we can do something together as a family, right? Maybe 10 minutes to 30 minutes, that's all. And then sit together and then they talk about something. Or Sunday night, before the lunch, during the dinner, and they talk about what they learned during the service, Sunday service. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. And another thing is that just think about technology, right? How can use the technology? Sometimes people really don't know how to use the technology, and then personally, my kids, and when I give them the cell phone, and then I try to do something different, and then every morning I try to share the Bible verse with them. Nowadays too, and even they are in college, and whether they read it thoroughly or not, and then every morning, and I had a devotion and read the Bible and think about, and then I share it with my family members. And then usually, when they read and they say amen, because I don't tell them not to, I don't tell them to do bad things, but I suggest as a Christian, can we live and can we pray that, can we desire for that, and then like that, and then so we can use the kind of technology, and you can send the email, and you can text them and encourage their faith, and then sometimes support their faith, and then I don't know how parents can do it, but when I try to practice in my ministry, and people cannot do it because basically a lot of people don't have time to read the Bible every day, and sometimes they are too busy, and they cannot give attention to their children, and then but you don't have to take a long, but just think about it. And nowadays it's some website that gives you guys gives a daily verse, and the daily verse, and you could pick the daily verse, and then read and think about it, and just sharing with your children, and then there's a wonderful way that and parents can do it, right? And another thing is that by the research, George Barna, and then more than 90% American people, and they never talk about spiritual stuff at home. Can you believe it? I know it's really busy, and sometimes maybe one of the activity during the week going to mean that to go going to church on Sunday. It's not. Going to Sunday is a part of our life. We spend our time there because it is really important. Communal service is really important. That's why we are going to church. But people, maybe one of the functions of the church is what? Socialization. You're going to meet the people, and you're going to socialize with the others. That's why people going to church. That's true. But I really strongly recommend and using technology and also try to talk about spiritual stuff. Sometimes in kids and elementary to second grade, third grade, and they have really asked a hard question too. It's really hard question that cannot answer. Because they are thinking about, they try to process it, even though they are young, and sometimes they don't understand and they ask the questions. It means that I don't know, kind of a church would need to provide and talk about spiritual stuff during the week, at least once a week. My children doesn't go to youth group in American church that we are in now and then attending now, and then every Sunday we go to the same service like family integrated churches, because we understand some English, not like we are not a native, right? And then we understand the service, and then our church is a lot of the PowerPoint and sometimes scripts, and then we are talking about that one on the way back home or during the kind of dinner. What do you think on the today's service? Or what do you think of the clip? And we are talking about and what you learn. That was a really blessing, though. I don't boast them. I don't kind of teach them, but I try to share what I had. Try to listen to them and try to respect what they learn. That is one thing that is really good things that you can practice, and maybe you can recommend the parents to practice. But nowadays, churches are really interested in Lordland ministry, so they give them some guideline, to some assignment, to do together with the parents at home, and then there is if you use that one, and then maybe you can do it. So try the environment to talk about spiritual stuff, and then let them do it. Right? Encourage them. That is a really important thing. And then that is a part of discipleship. And I don't know. So, and they needed to know how to lead their children spiritually. And they needed to know how to make their children, how to do discipleship with their children. And they need to know how to talk about spiritual stuff, right? That is a part of the training, and give them idea, and then it's a really blessing. Even though you give them, and then sometimes parents need a lot of encouragement and keep motivating by churches. What about the understanding of culture? It's a really big thing, right? And parents usually have a big generational gap between from their children. So their world is different from their children's world, and then sometimes you need to kind of peek into their culture and understand their culture. Always a lot of people, there is some problem with their children. Some parents have problem with their children. Always, they don't understand the children's culture and always think about their own culture and then order what to do, and right. You gotta push them what to do. That's why they will really be, they will a lot of troubles, conflict in families. So maybe, as a family, I don't know, as a parent, maybe they understand the children's cultures, and then they wanna see their culture day by day because they are observing, right? And they understand that. So they are not gonna do something that you don't like. They are children, though. So a lot of different ways that you can encourage children to build up their faith. But what I found, through my experience, and then usually as a parent, you want to teach your children don't like it. But instead of preaching to your children, why don't you share what you learn, right? Share. Don't teach them. And sharing and be a model. That's one of the effective way that you can help children to grow in faith, right? And in my cultures, and a lot of time, they order children to do something, right? Right? Okay, read the Bible, but parents don't read the Bible. Like this. Pray, but parents don't pray. Like this. But one thing that I learned from my experience, and then just do together with the children. Together. Until for my experience and until the elementary school and 6th grade, and I push them a lot to do that. But when they start in junior high school, I try to give them kind of freedom, but let them do by themselves. But I do together. While they read the Bible and I read the Bible together next to them. Right? People during the elementary period, and then before they go to school, they gotta eat and they read the Bible, either one. Otherwise, they cannot go to school. That's the rules. And junior high school, and I just I just kind of take away took away the rule, and not anymore. I don't use it, and I didn't use it, and then give them why don't you read the Bible, and then do your work after school, and then I pick them up, and then usually when they read the Bible, we read the Bible. I read the Bible, and sometimes we study Bible together. So I don't teach them, I try to listen to them, I try to facilitate the Bible study. Sometimes we read, we pray to it every night, and then they're really tired, and then they pray to sleep. They say, we are done. Your prayer is too long. They said, I know. Sometimes we pray for missionaries, and pray for churches, and pray for themselves, and pray for other things, and then it's a prayer can go long and long and long. They are tired and ready to sleep, but I never read. You gotta wake up for prayer. Why? That's why I always give them chance to pray earlier first, and they pray about few sentences, okay. Right? Kind of be wise, but they are part of the spiritual activity at home. That is the more important thing. So, don't just tell them to order and tell them to do something and just work together. And when we try to memorize the Bible, English is not my mother language, right? I try to memorize it over and easily forget. It's hard to memorize, but kids have good memory, and just take 3 minutes, but we take 5-10 minutes and try to kind of test each other, and then they keep they are really not like really joking about us, but still they know. Yeah, we made a lot of mistakes, and when we tried to say the Bible verse, but they memorize it completely. Yeah. It's a different though, right? So, okay, the two things that we are in ministry, right? If you later in your life, and then if you want to help the children's spirituality, and then okay, just two things you should remember: do it together, not just to order them to do, right? And rather than teaching, share what you learn. Okay, so maybe you can read a lot of books and insight and practical things, and then maybe if you don't practice a lot of stuff, and like me, and then it's hard to get practical stuff. But I try to be creative in how can we build our relationship together. But sometimes you can get a lot of ideas from the parents, and then what they can do, and then try to get the idea and then practice at church, and then develop the idea though. Okay? Now, I try to give you basic information about family ministry, and maybe not the practical information, but I just shared what the practical idea from my experience, and then but still, you gotta know how important the family is, and then you gotta know what they are going through. And nowadays the sexuality is coming, affect a lot of Christians, and then kids when they're born, and we cannot write down their sex medically, right? They decide later. I know. But that's a totally different belief from the I have. Sex, biological sex, we cannot write down the biological sex. It's really ridiculous, right? I don't know. Pronouns is a lot. Pronouns. Who can you identify yourself? Some around 10 pronouns, I don't know. So maybe it's a lot of anxiety. Christian families, a lot of anxiety because of the world culture and trend. And they think that they don't have a power to teach their kids. And in Canada or some state, and you cannot teach your children about sexuality as a parent. Why can we do that? Getting harder and harder. So we needed to be wise, and we need to support the parents, and then try to different way that protect your children. And nowadays, I know that the second generation, and then they cannot send the children to public school, and then do you know that the public school education, and it's a lot of aspects and kind of against what they believe and their values. So one of the ways that, but we needed to be affordable financially. So that is one other issue. So there's a lot of things going on, and they need to support by the church, and then encouraged by the churches, and then think about it. This is kind of gives you basic idea and trend, and what are they facing now? Okay, so I'm really interested in, and then if you want to talk to more about family, and then we can talk. Just let me know. So I shared my experience. It's not my kind of brags. No. that's why I try to give you some idea about family ministry and how can support, how can support the family, and if you wanna be a family, kind of more than family, and then form a family, and then give you some idea, and then tomorrow, my previous church members, he is dating now, and then he wants to have the premarital counseling with me. So he's coming to my house tomorrow, maybe a few weeks, and then that's one of the things that we needed to think about together as a Christians. So that's my experience sharing, not bragging about my family, not bragging about my children. Okay, so have a great week, you guys, and then we have one more week, so we're gonna talk about a little bit, the issues in Christian education. Maybe conceptual and maybe theoretical, but we can talk about it.